Hey everybody, Rob Gauthier, the ET Whisperer. I hope everyone is having a great week. I hope you guys enjoyed the last week's channeling, and I wanted to introduce this new channeling. These beings are a very interesting race of beings that work with us in the grid system, and this is not something new that we've heard through the channeling. It's actually something that we've heard from other races, but not at this capacity. I don't think that this specific type of help has ever been talked about by Treb, Aridif, or any other entity. And every time I hear something new that I haven't heard before, it's always exciting. So this is a really cool one to check out and to listen to. I hope you guys have been enjoying all of our galactic channelings, and I appreciate all of the help and support. You know, the energy of you sharing and liking and subscribing, commenting, all that stuff really helps the algorithm. But just the general mood and energy of the comment section has been so absolutely supportive and amazing, and I can't tell you how much that means to me. I also wanted to share with all of you guys, if you want to check out anything about the events we've got going on and other stuff, you can always go to etwhisper.com, check out the website. There's a lot of stuff there, kind of gives an overview of everything that we're doing. But this coming year, I am done with personal sessions. Private sessions are a part of the past for ET Whisper, but we're going to be doing new stuff. And the way that you catch up with what we're doing or check out what we're doing is by going to the website and checking it out. So that's a really great place to send everyone. And I just wanted to say I appreciate everybody who has supported me through the years by getting sessions and Patreon and all that stuff. And if you want to find out more about Patreon, just hang out to the end of the video. And thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate your love. I really appreciate your energy. I hope you find this channeling as amazing as I did, and I'll see you guys next week on the other side. Love you guys.
All this Aridif, that is Aridif, and this is its spell. We understand that all of you desire to co-create with the Galactic Collective Form yet again. But before diving into that co-creation, we must express the two things that we have always expressed first, above and beyond all things that are expressed in this day, to know, to feel, and to perceive. That you are loved in our perspective is of the utmost importance. Secondly, it is our greatest excitement, and within the same form of that great excitement in which we co-create with you as collective form of human beings, but also as an individual consciousness. Now we are going to share with you another race of co-creants who work from a very deep level of dream state human consciousness with human beings at this time. These entities work as volunteers to help the human collective consciousness and come from multiple races. This group works to help support the electromagnetic grid system that Earth utilizes and each planet utilizes in order to co-create with living beings upon the planet. So of course, that grid and grid workers of human consciousness work with this group of beings from 7 different races, representatives, and humans who do grid work are hand in hand working with this group the majority of times. Now we are not speaking of those that are Pleiadian who work to intermingle, for lack of better terms, a homemade or false grid system around Earth to help tie the Pleiadian grid to the Earth grid and your solar system grid. We are not speaking of the Syrians that do the same, or the Arcturians that do the same. We are speaking of the group of beings that help repair and fix the energetic flows upon Earth's grid system itself. Humans in ancient times called them the Dragon Line Masters, or now assistant grid workers. One moment we...
Greetings, I am Bacha, and I am from the Assistants, and I am
a representative to communicate this message, but want to make clear a bit better than Aridif did. Aridif said, we are assistants to you for grid work, yes, but grid work is done by itself. Humans who are grid workers are also doing something without knowing always that they're doing it. Every human being is a grid worker, but your form of the grid workers are more deliberate, or are much more powerful with their energy output and input. Many empaths do this grid work without ever knowing. So it is important to make the subtle but discernible differences. Also, we don't repair the grid. The grid is always running fixed, never broken. Its adjustments, yes, need to be made, yes, but we never fix the grid. The grid works perfectly and autonomously to us. We help the humans redirect certain energies when problems come to Earth. Let me explain. And the human grid system is one part of the grid system of Earth. And the animals all have their own separate grid systems. Then other races, such as the race where I come from, Arcturus, on the fourth planet of the tall, slim, blue humanoids without hair, exist in the fifth density. So my specific race would come and assist humans by bringing the grid of Arcturus with them, and also interlacing the new grid of the Arcturian energy into Earth, and then would create a sphere that interweaves with your grid naturally, and then we would tie the entire solar system with some very small and very low amount of lines around the anchoring of other celestial bodies, the natural satellites and the planets of your solar system, and then tie a very complex and large grid around the whole solar system. And we do this with our own planets and with our own solar system, and then tie the grids together. And we do this as an artificial grid system because we want to share our development with humans, and also allow you to do that with us. So, isn't it perfect to help readjust the problematic energies on Earth? The example I want to give you is when humans in one area are going through major suffering, or they're going through major excitements, the energies of the grid that are naturally compounding to those areas of releasing trauma of humans going into the grid and trying to settle the humans and help rebalance those humans into that same part of the grid. Then much of the first and second layer lines become weaker around the entire whole planet because there's so much suffering there. So we may take ones that are over almost completely unpopulated areas and redistribute the power from those grids to the areas where the grid systems are needed more energy. So this is an important difference in how Aridif explained, and a better difference to how I would explain. That aside, it is also important to cover the integration factors with human beings. Humans do this voluntarily in the dream state.
When you're not in the dream state, yes, there are some of you that are empathic, that are natural, and some of you who are knowledgeably going to try to move energies into the grids. But in the dream state, it is volunteers only. And the volunteers always have a very strong sensation of wanting to help other human beings and wanting to help shift the imbalances of other human beings. This is the only thing that you need as a resume factor for working with us and us working with you. Because once that decision is made, it becomes much easier to work with your own higher dimensional aspects of consciousness that exist in your dream states and start working with them. Most humans will never meet their fifth density layer of consciousness inside of their higher self, the multi-dimensional part of you that exists as a fifth density operative and works on your behalf in that density and sixth dimensional consciousness, and that part of you is just as expanded and just as wise as every other fifth density being that you've ever met, or sixth dimensional being that you've ever met or come into contact with. So this part of you would naturally know if you would want to do that. And when that decision is made and when that appreciation comes, then it is more obvious to want to work with us. So we take the energy where it is more heavy and help disperse it into lesser heavily laid areas of the grid. And we also take places that are uninhabited over the oceans or lightly inhabited as your northern pole regions and redistribute those energies accordingly. Where overactive energies come, we can help redistribute that by setting an intent of communication from one consciousness to the other and maximize the output of our energies in a very direct line. Sometimes there are thousands of us who will go over the planet into where the grid system is and consciously pull energy away from that highly driven place and then pass it to the next being and pass it to the next being, and then the last being will redistribute it on Earth and do that naturally. There's very little intention required. It is just that all of us are masters of manipulating internal energy and working with external energies also. I'm so happy that so many humans wished and desired to take part of this. So much more happiness comes from that because you are really helping the humans who are having the worst times and also helping lighten those who are having the best times and getting the energy of excitement they're throwing off and bringing that back to the places where they are having the harder times. So it is naturally helpful and something that all of us do because we want to do it. So thank you. And I thank all of you. And I also give my... what is the opposite of thanks? It is acceptance. I give my acceptance to you for all of you who thank me for helping. It's okay. I want to help. I wanted to thank everyone in our Patreon who helps support me have the free time to do the extra channeling here. If you're interested, go to ET Whisper Patreon, which is patreon.com/ETWhisper. $22 a month, you get access to 2 different channelings per month. One where everyone sends in ideas, we put it in a poll and vote for it. The second is a Q&A. Everyone sends in their questions and their desire of Aridif or Treb answering it, and then we ask the questions, and then we go through them randomly, and whoever's questions get picked goes there. So if you want to be a part of that to get access to that extra stuff, and you want to help support us get more content out on YouTube, the link is in the description. Love you guys. Thank you guys for your support, and I'll see you on the other side.